Hey there, Bookkeeping Side Hustle community. It is Kate, and we are so excited to be here. We've got a great guest today, Veronica Wasek, and she's going to teach us a lesson we're calling From Leads to Clients, using paid diagnostic reviews to qualify, price, and close with confidence. I learned from Veronica probably 3 or 4 years ago now about diagnostic reviews and her system. And it kind of was a game changer for my business. So I was excited that she was willing to come on and teach again. We all know how cleanups can spiral out of control. Every bookkeeper knows how cleanups can spiral out of control. And so she's quite adept at teaching us how to keep that from happening, how to keep those cleanups kind of in check, because we're not going to be faced with those surprises if we do a diagnostic review. So if you're listening live, don't forget to post those questions in the chat. If you're listening after the fact, the best way to kind of keep engaged in this conversation, Veronica is in the Bookkeeping Side Hustle Facebook group, active there, a huge supporter. So let's keep the conversation going, whether it's in the chat, in the YouTube comments, or in the Facebook group. One little bit of admin left. She does have resources that help beyond what she's going to teach today. The links to all of those will be below, to her courses. And I'll say that she has given us a discount code called BSH15 off. That'll be typed below as well. But for all her materials, you can use that. The stuff we're going to talk about today, you can use that code for a discount if you use the links below. So now I'm going to say, let's dive in. Veronica, why don't I share your screen? And we'll start off with just a little intro about who you are, and then we'll get into your lesson.
Absolutely, and I'm so excited to be with you again, Kate, and to bring this topic that I've decided is my life's mission to mainstream paid diagnostic reviews. Everyone in the accounting industry should be doing them, and so that is my calling, and that's why I'm here.
I love it.
And let me get that screen going. Fantastic. So my name is Veronica Wasek, and I am known as the Unstoppable Introvert. I founded 5MB Academy because I got tired of my clients telling me that their previous bookkeeper had messed up their books. I thought, well, I have to be part of the solution, and decided to create educational content for bookkeepers to help them have the workflows, tools, and systems to work confidently. I started and ran my own bookkeeping firm called Maven C 15 years ago, and I sold it to two of my key employees last December of 2024. And I am a farm owner. I'm not at the farm today, but we'll be soon moving to the farm and living there full time. And you can find me on social media. Just look up Veronica Wasek and you will find me.
Yeah, if we got any farmers in the chat, go ahead and y'all can, sideline talk about your farming and animals and.
Yep, let me know.
Yeah.
But we are talking about paid diagnostic reviews, and hold on one second, because I don't have no wonder I couldn't advance the slides. I was on the wrong screen. There we go.
Okay. It looks good here.
Yeah, it was just on my end. So absolutely have been there, just like everybody else, working with these prospective clients who are tire kickers, just wanting to know how much do you charge for something, or they want free advice. It's just a little question, and yet it's going to take you a couple of hours to answer. Or when they tell you, hey, it won't take that long. You're working with cheap clients. And ultimately, the fact that a lead is not the same as a client. So someone who comes to you, who again wants all these free things, they're not a client. And so we need to have a way to filter out the bad ones, and also to then qualify the good clients and have a method to offer them valuable services that they're willing and able to pay for. So why is this important? Because we have clients who are driving the conversation. They're controlling everything. They're just telling you like, hey, check the books or clean up the chart of accounts, or, it won't take that long. They're trying to control things. We don't have any visibility into the real scope of work. So many of of us because we lack that confidence into even knowing how to offer a paid diagnostic review, even knowing, what to say to the client. We just default to, well, I'll just charge by the hour and figure it out as I go. But then that leaves you without any visibility into what the project is really about or what you're getting into. You're guessing at your pricing because, again, you don't know. And then you're doing all this free work to just like check the books, right? I'll just check the books and tell them what's wrong, and then they'll become a client because I gave them free work. Well, it doesn't work that way because someone who would allow you to do free work really doesn't value what you're doing. So here's the big takeaway for me was that professionals diagnose before they prescribe, like a doctor, um, a mechanic, anywhere that you go where someone has to fix something, they have to diagnose first before they prescribe a service or a treatment or a medication. But somehow in the accounting world, we got stuck just doing all this for free and then working with prospective clients who don't value what we do. We waste our time. We don't get compensated for the time and effort that we're putting in and for the expertise that we have. So this is when I thought, I need to do not just a diagnostic, because I was doing those for free, spending hours doing them for free, giving the clients the report of what I found. And actually, they weren't even clients, Kate, because they hadn't paid me. Okay.
Right.
So, so I'm doing all this stuff for free and realizing I need to I need to charge for this. And I have a service, a diagnostic review service. So what do diagnostics do for you? They help you qualify leads. They help you control the process because now the client isn't the one who's trying to tell you what to do. They replace guessing with facts because now we will actually know what's wrong with the client's books. It will help you to price confidently. It will help you to reduce sales pressure of like, I have to convince them somehow they have to become my client. And then you can close the good clients with confidence. And I'm going to show you some of the key things, the proven steps that I took to develop my service, to offer it to clients, and to even offer additional services to them. So diagnostics, even though we will be talking about diagnostic reviews for cleanups, diagnostics apply to all client types and all projects that you work with as far as bookkeeping clients. It could be startups without any books. You could do some sort of bookkeeping needs analysis or diagnostic. Those clients who've been trying to do their own books, maybe a standalone project or a consulting project. You might do a needs analysis and a cleanup. And in fact, the most important diagnostic, and I think the one that matters the most for what I will be talking about, is diagnostics for cleanup projects. And really, those have been the most profitable. And over the 15 years that I had my own accounting firm, my team and I did hundreds of cleanups because we followed this process for diagnosing the client's books. And then we had a process for cleaning up their books. So the cleanup diagnostic is really your best sales tool because it helps you to qualify serious clients. Again, we're trying to get away from the tire kickers and the clients who want all that free work. It helps you to get a full scope of work. It simplifies your pricing. And it most importantly helps you to convert qualified leads into paying clients. And notice I said qualified leads because this process will help you to qualify the clients who actually value what you do and are willing and able to pay. So let's talk about the system, the pay diagnostic review system. And as I said before, I've done hundreds of clients or hundreds of cleanups rather. But in the beginning, I was giving away all of my diagnostics for free, because I thought, well, that, I'll be able to get the client, right? I'll be able to just, if I give them something for free, then they'll become a client. And a lot of that was, I think, fear. I mean, there's fear in charging for that diagnostic. I think it's even not understanding our own value and the value that we're providing. And I remember specifically one client where I did this full diagnostic. I probably spent 5 to 8 hours because I was still developing my system, so it took me longer to do it. Diagnosed the books. I gave him all the findings in writing, and I sent it to him, and I never heard from him again. And I was just devastated. I just thought, like, what am I doing wrong, right? And realized that, what, I am providing a valuable service, and I deserve to be compensated for the value that I provide. And that's when it hit me. I need to start charging because what I'm doing has value. And again, I deserve to be compensated for my expertise. And who else is giving a client like a full report of everything they found wrong? So clearly that prospective client didn't value what they were receiving from me. But believe me, the right clients will value that.
If any of y'all have felt that feeling, share it in the comments below, or you come back later if you're watching this after the fact. And it's like, it's not a good feeling. And just this idea of who you attract. It's okay if we make more money by dealing with less headaches, even if our our roster of calls or leads is smaller. Like, that's more of a winning business strategy, right? Like, if you only get 10 people that come into your orbit and you convert 9 of the 10, that's better than the person who has got 50 people calling them, but they're only converting 4 or 5 because they're people that are coming into their world are not serious.
Yeah. And I think, in fact, Kate, that when you had talked about, the light bulb went off of, I need to charge for this. And it took a while for that confidence level, to be there, to decide that, yes, I need to charge. But I think once you make that decision and you realize that there's value, like, you're essentially valuing yourself. Because I think in our industry, we talk a lot about clients don't value what we do, but do we value what we do? And
yeah.
as long as we don't and I don't know if it's a conscious thing, you know what I mean? But if we don't value what we do, then I think we will continue to attract those clients who also don't value us.
Right.
So again, we're going to talk about the paid diagnostic review system. So kind of taking a big picture at what is it? So it's and by the way, I love systems. I like to break everything down into steps and checklists and forms. And so the paid diagnostic review system is essentially 4 steps. Step 1 is the discovery call. So talking to that prospective client, learning about what their needs are. Step 2 is performing the diagnostic review. Step 3 is the report of findings and recommendations that we will give to the client. And step 4 is recommending additional services. So there's nothing awkward about this in terms of when we're talking to that prospective client, when we're taking them through the process. Nothing awkward in terms of I have to convince them, or what am I going to say, or I'm not a salesperson. And believe me, when I started my bookkeeping business, that's one of my biggest fears was that, okay, I don't know how to sell. And so that everything that I developed was around the fact that, okay, I'm no salesperson. And so I have to do something different to then essentially recommend services to my clients. So kind of take that doctor approach of diagnosing and then recommending. And really the diagnostic review then becomes part of your selling process, if we're going to call it selling process, of qualifying a prospective client, of pricing your services, and then turning those leads into clients. So how do we offer the paid diagnostic review? So going back to that initial discovery call, here's one thing that I realized that I was doing totally wrong. Okay. So in that initial discovery call, I would talk to a prospective client and they would tell me all their pain points, right? All the things wrong. My books are messed up. My previous bookkeeper left me, whatever. I connected an app to QuickBooks. Nowadays it's like, the AI messed everything up, whatever. You've heard it all. And I would sit there and just go like, I've heard it all. Like, okay, here they go again. They're saying the same thing over and over. And that's when I realized that, you know what, that's where the money is. Okay. The pain points that they have. Because I just thought, yeah, I know I can fix it all. I don't have to listen to them. But they're telling you everything that is wrong, and all the pain points that you need to take away is, there's value in that. Time, money, and emotion. Really, if you can help a client with those three things, then emotion is a big thing in terms of that peace of mind that they need to be able to then run their business and focus on other things. There's a lot of value there. So when that client tells you, all the things that are wrong, then you are going to say, here is what I recommend. Okay. So again, no high pressure sales. You are just recommending a service. Okay. So we're going to say, here's what I recommend. And then this is the script that I want you to have. And Kate, I think you said you have it in front of your computer, right?
Yeah. So I took this course, I even took it after I had fully committed to not serving QuickBooks clients, because I knew I could just learn the philosophy of what you're doing, and then I actually tailored it. So now I have my own FreshBooks review system. But this script right here, I had put it in big font on a regular piece of typing paper, and I taped it above my computer for several years. I kept it up actually because sometimes, even though I have gotten a lot more confident, I still need those reminders, I guess. And so until we moved from Virginia to Texas, I had it taped above my wall. And it was a good little crutch. It was a good reminder to just say this simple thing. It's really actually simple. Here's what I recommend. And then you just stop talking, and most of the time they're going to say oh, okay. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to work with a bookkeeper. They don't, and if they do, it's all because they worked with a bad one. So they're looking for something different. So to have this confidence of, we're going to go through these steps. You're going to get a report. I'll have it with you, in 1 week, you'll have it back or whatever. And now I can't imagine not charging for a diagnostic review.
Yeah.
But there was a time when I could not fathom telling someone that, well, for me to look at your books, you're gonna have to pay me money. That was crazy, because I had done it so many times the other way. And I don't know where I learned that. I don't feel like someone explicitly said to do it this other way, but it's what felt natural, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I find it easy to say, and I know that you have your QuickBooks templates that in your course that people can just kind of follow along with exactly what you do. So that's a blessing. I had to build my own for FreshBooks, but I kind of followed the model. And it's really easy to sell something you believe in. And so when you give them the product, because this is a product.
Yes.
Mine is a Google sheet that has 11 tabs, and it has yellow light, red light, yellow light, green light on different metrics that I'm looking at. I believe in it. I think what I'm doing is good. And so it's really easy. This is going to be so helpful to you. And you'll feel a lot better knowing the good, the bad, and the ugly of your books. And I've gotten a lot of good feedback. Thank you for this.
That's great.
So yeah, I can't imagine not doing a paid diagnostic review. And I literally read from these paragraphs above my computer.
Yeah. And I think what that we have to reframe our thinking around well, I'm charging the client just to look at their books, or recently somebody said the prospective clients say, you're going to charge me to give me pricing. But yeah, it's so much more than that, because
Yes.
who else is going to give the client an exact report, again, a deliverable with exactly what's wrong with their
Mhm.
books, and show them and then have a solution.
Mhm.
So again, it's not like I'm going to look at your books, it's the entire process and the deliverable.
Yep.
So here's what we would say then. I recommend doing a paid diagnostic review of your books so that I can get a clear picture of what's wrong with your books. At the end of my review, I will go over my findings with you. I will also give you upfront pricing for my services. And I might have added this after the fact, Kate, because I've kind of refined it. So the last paragraph is, this helps us both understand what's going on in the books and exactly what needs to be fixed. So it's and then clarity for both the bookkeeper and the client. So again, no high pressure sales. This is what you recommend. And and also by recommending, you're positioning yourself as a specialist, as an expert, not just somebody that, again, I'm just going to charge by the hour. I have no idea what I'm getting into. Give me a second there. Oh, okay, got it. All right. So then you're going to give them the pricing for the service. Okay. So then you're going to say the pricing for the paid diagnostic review is, and then you're going to give them a price. Don't wait for them to ask you the price, because sometimes they don't. So you pretty much want to say this right after the paid diagnostic, this is what I recommend. And then the pricing for the paid diagnostic review is. So a couple of things about pricing. I don't want you to overthink the pricing. I don't want you to think, well, how many hours is it going to take? Like, don't worry about it. You need to have some go-to pricing. And I'll talk a little bit about that. But don't overthink it, because we're not trying to get rich from the paid diagnostic review. It's a means to an end. Okay. So what are some options for pricing the paid diagnostic review? I have two methods, and initially I used annual revenues, and I could talk a lot about pricing. I mean, I have done like giant pricing calculators, spent probably 100 hours developing a pricing calculator, only to realize that I was way overthinking pricing. And so I generally have priced using annual revenues as a baseline. So if when using annual revenues, I have charged anywhere probably from $300, and that's in the very beginning on the low end, to $1,000+, and generally $750 to $1,000 is about where I was with my clients, and that's for one company for 1 year. My second method that I started using later on was just based on the number of months that I was reviewing. So you could charge, whatever you decide you want to charge per month. But again, I was usually in the $500 to $1,000 range. And again, generally around 750. Once I started working with e-commerce clients, the minimum we charged was it was $997. So it's almost $1,000 to do a diagnostic review. And again, as your confidence increases, your pricing will increase as well. So one of the questions that I'm often asked and have been asked in that discovery call, after I tell them about the diagnostic review, the pricing for the diagnostic, and a lot of times they'll be sold like, yeah, I'd like to do the diagnostic, but how much will the cleanup be? Because, they're still trying to figure out, do they have the funds, or, just how much is it going to be? So this is what I would say. I don't know exactly what the pricing will be for the cleanup until I complete the paid diagnostic review. But clients your size normally pay, and then I would give them a range. Okay. A lot of that came from experience. Some of that came just from, I know what the revenues are, and I generally know how to charge based on revenues. So I would give them a range, um, and and so that helped me to qualify the client, not just for the diagnostic, but now for the cleanup as well. And again, it's always important to talk about pricing initially with a prospective client, because some of them, they don't ask, and then they're just shocked at the end, like, oh my gosh, I didn't think it would be that much. But it's best to cover all of that in that first discovery call and not waste your time. Then, well, now I'm going to do the diagnostic, but I still don't know if they can afford me. You need to know that ahead of time. And then we've told them about the paid diagnostic review. We've discussed the pricing for the diagnostic review. We've discussed a general ballpark pricing for the cleanup. So now this is the magic phrase that you need to use. Would you like to move forward? Okay, so this is what we're going to ask that prospective client after we've told them everything. They may have asked questions, so we answered. So now we're moving into what's called the close. Close is, would you like to move forward? Okay, so it's not, again, very low pressure. You don't have to be a salesperson, because like I said, I wasn't a salesperson, but I found I never changed this question. And honestly, I don't know if I came up with it or if I read it on a book. I don't recall, because I used it for so many years. But that is the magic phrase. So if they say yes, great. Then you're going to send them an engagement letter and an invoice for the paid diagnostic review. Or you could use Anchor. So that'll kind of, you'll have engagement letter and the payment all in one. But that is a requirement. They have to sign the engagement letter and they have to pay up front. Then and only then are they a client, and then you continue with the paid diagnostic review. So let's talk about the paid diagnostic review workflow. So as I said, I like to break everything down into steps. So this is the workflow for when you're doing the paid diagnostic review. As I said, step 1, signed engagement letter and payment. Step 2, requesting information from the client, basically gathering what you need from that client to perform the diagnostic review. Step number 3, actually doing the diagnostic. Step number 4, providing a report of findings and recommendations. And step 5, presenting that report to the client and going over it with them. And step 6, signing up the client for more services. And the key to doing it, as you said, Kate, you put together a checklist, and I did the same thing, because you need to have a checklist to go through it. If we're going to then make a promise to the client that, hey, we're going to review your books and we're going to give you a report of findings and recommendations, then we better know all the things that we need to check, and we need to have a process for doing it. So when I put together my checklist, I went through okay, all the things in QuickBooks in my case, reviewing a tax, or even looking at the tax return reconciliation to Schedule L, bank and credit card accounts, undeposited funds, profit and loss accounts, balance sheet accounts, accounts receivable aging, accounts payable aging, the chart of accounts, the products and services list, payroll, sales taxes, inventory. It's a really taking a very deep look under the hood to then identify all the things that are wrong with the client's books. So here's just a sample checklist, as I said, and as Kate said, like she has, how many tabs are on your?
I think mine's 11.
Yeah, mine is about the same, because each of the checklist items has a different tab where you go in and check for various things. So here's just and this is an excerpt because it actually goes to the right and continues with more things, but you're listing all the bank accounts. You're looking at whether there are old transactions in the bank feeds, were the accounts reconciled, Are there any old uncleared items in the reconciliations? And then there's more, have the reconciliations been changed, and even more things to check for. So then we're in the checklist and we're noting whether we found things wrong or not. So we're going to say like cleanup needed or it's okay. I like to even have how many transactions did we find wrong, because that just rubs that salt in the wound. Okay, so 131 transactions going back to 2020 with a, what, I can't even read that very well, $36,000. Yeah. So it's when you're showing the client all of that, it's like, oh gosh, I didn't know it was that bad, right? So really showing them what it, not just like, hey, you need to do your bank reconciliation, like, or really showing them at a very detailed level. Here's another sample checklist from the profit and loss, and this is just the income section. So all the things that I would check for, whether cleanup is needed, the account category, the number of transactions that we found that maybe they're miscategorized, the date range, the amount, and then the recommendation of, for example, we need to review and adjust all negative balances in the job materials account. So it can get very detailed. And this is something that, as I said, it took me a while to put all this together. But then once I had this checklist, there was no way that I couldn't charge for a diagnostic review, because it was just so in-depth and so effective. And then, so we're going to give the client a physical, like a PDF report of findings and recommendations, and we're going to meet with the client and show them. So I will show them what I found wrong. It'll be on the report, and then I go into QuickBooks and I show them so that they can visually see. I know some people do like a video, like a Loom video, or just send the report along. I think it's much more effective to go over it with them, and so that they don't have a reason to, I mean, they're a captive audience, first of all, and then you can really show them, not just on the report, but on their QuickBooks or on their accounting software, what's wrong. And then at the end of the report, we're going to give them service recommendations for what are we recommending. Maybe it's a cleanup, a catch-up service, coaching and training, consulting, monthly bookkeeping, etc. We're going to recommend all of those services. And then we will transition those clients to higher paying services. So again, we're going to use here's what I recommend, right? So here are the services I recommend. We're going to tell them what those services are. The pricing for these services is, we're going to give them the pricing. And again, the magic question, would you like to move forward? So again, I've never changed the magic question because it works. So just to wrap it up, some takeaways that I hope that came across from our presentation today. Number one, the paid diagnostic review is an important part of the sales process. The paid diagnostic review is a repeatable system. You can get paid for doing diagnostic reviews, and you can work with clients who value what you do and are willing to pay you. And Kate, I just wanted to share some resources with everyone, and I think you're going to put that somewhere where they can find it. So if you'd like to know more about me, you can go to my website, veronicawasek.com. Also, you'll have the link to my YouTube channel, where I talk a lot about cleanup, diagnostics, QuickBooks, and confidence and mindset. I especially like to do content for introverted bookkeepers. And then you can sign up to be notified about my latest content and webinars.
Yep, all those will be in the description below, and then also including my referral links for the specific systems that we've talked about. So highlight those a little bit. So those snips that you saw of those images, that Excel file is for sale in the course, right? The diagnostic review system,
Yes.
right?
And in fact, I can tell them a little bit about the course if
Sure.
we still have time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after giving away my work for free, as I said before, and after realizing I have something of value to offer, and then as I said, this is now it's a system. I can't just give it away. I decided to put together a course because my bookkeepers were asking me like, okay, you talk about diagnostic, but how do you do it? And so I put together a course called the QBO Pay Diagnostic Review System. So this is a step-by-step diagnostic workflow and review checklist. It shows you how to identify the errors, the red flags, the root causes and problems in QBO. So it'll help you to diagnose the problems. It includes the checklist with full tutorials on what to review for, how to fill out the checklist, how to document your findings and recommendations. And again, includes all of the resources that you need, the checklist, the templates, engagement letter, how to offer the service. So it's a full entire system. Like if you've never done a diagnostic or you don't know how to offer it to a client, you don't know how to price it, it's all included. Yes. And so then this course was a success. It's been, I don't know how many years now that we've had it, but it's a bestseller. And my students ask, well, how do I do a cleanup? I know how to do the diagnostic now. How do I do a cleanup? So I put together another course, the Complete QBO Cleanup System, to then not just take it from the diagnostic now to how do we clean up the books, how to confidently price and sell cleanups, where to start with a QBO cleanup, the order of the cleanup, because you really have to go in a specific order, the balance sheet reconciliation to Schedule L. I have an entire section by or an entire lesson, section by section, showing you on how to go into QuickBooks, identify the problems, and clean them up, and really focusing on identifying the source problem. So if, for example, why is undeposited funds showing these old uncleared balances? We're going to talk about why it's happening and then how to clean it up as well. If you would like the 2-course bundle for best pricing, we have that as well, where you can bundle the 2 courses. Oh, and lastly, to give you support while you're taking the courses, I have a private student group on Facebook where you have direct access to me. So when you ask a question, I answer the question. Some of the group members might answer, but I answer every question and then give you guidance. And a lot of students, maybe they've never done a cleanup before, so they'll actually ask about their cleanup and what's going on, and then I will give them guidance so they can work through real life situations. I think that's it, Kate. Oh, yeah. And then we have the special discount code, as you mentioned, Kate, the 15% off for Bookkeeping Side Hustle, BSH 15 off. And there is no expiration on that discount. So you can use it at any time, and then on any of my other courses as well.
Fantastic. Is that the last slide?
Yes.
Can you go back to slide 19?
Yes.
Does it allow you to jump quickly? Uh-oh. Maybe not.
Yes, I can get there.
So one of the things.
13. Hold on. What number?
13.
13. Okay.
I was curious about this idea of okay, sorry. I'm going to ask you about whether the prospective client call, the discovery call, is charged. But this was slide 19. I was going to talk through how I do this.
Sure.
I wanted to. So I do the signed engagement letter and payment. I probably used a lot of your language in my payment platform. So I use Ignition right now, and I have a template. So I think when someone books a diagnostic, I think it's like less than 5 minutes total for me to do everything that I need to do to like kick it off.
Yeah.
That's including step 2, requesting information. I don't request a lot of information, actually. I just, but I have a template of the email that gets sent. So everyone gets the same email. I don't have to rethink about what I need to ask them to do, inviting me to the FreshBooks file, all that stuff. I've gotten my reviews down to about 2 hours.
Awesome.
So, and I'm dealing with like way less complex clients than big QBO e-commerce clients, y'all. So like my like the market that I'm playing in is probably downstream from Veronica. But so I don't know how fast you were able to finally get your system down to, but I have a mental goal of 2 hours. But that's because I've done a lot of these. So like I don't think people should worry about the hours yet, but eventually when you systematize it, you'll kind of be able to grade yourself like, well, I kicked that one out of the park, or that one was slow, and why was it slow?
Yeah.
I give a Google Sheet for my report. So I give them access, view-only access to my Google Sheet. And then I want to say in 5, I'm someone who makes a video. So included in my 2 hours is what I hope is about a 10 to 15 minute video walkthrough of where I don't talk about everything that I have in the report. I say, you need to read everything, but I'm going to point out some of the major trouble spots. But maybe I don't convert as many cleanups because I don't have that in-person call. I just find that so right now my pricing is like, I think $435, and I've been slowly upping my price for this. And I just feel like if I'm going to have a call, it's probably going to be at least 30 minutes, if not longer.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's like cutting into my margin. So anyway, that's what I would say. I just wanted to articulate how one user of Veronica's system who did tweak it for herself and her client type was using it. But yeah, definitely more than paid for the course with just I barely any that like one or two of these will pay for the course, and then you just get to keep using it and keep getting better at it. So your effective hourly rate at these projects should go up. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say about slide 19. That's just I'm one example. I would love if y'all have comments about how you deviate from Veronica's example. Go ahead and share them. Let's learn together. Maybe Veronica is someone who knows she can still be learning too, right? Like there's so many good ways of doing this. Now I wanted to ask about the discovery call. So
sure.
Could people sell diagnostic reviews without a discovery call? I'm thinking almost like a buy button on a website, like book your diagnostic. Have you seen anyone do that successfully, where they just kind of pay with some sort of like a checkout link, and then it triggers you to know that, oh crud, someone bought this, I better. I mean, you can even automate probably like some emails after they buy, like invite me to your QBO, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. What do you think?
I think you could. Especially nowadays where people sort of want like the buy now thing. But I think that from a marketing perspective, that your positioning would have to you'd have to be doing something amazing where people are already convinced before they ever talk to you that you're the one that can help them. I think if they don't know you, because if there's no like and trust factor, I don't see how. I mean, someone could prove me wrong, but I think there would have to be enough marketing and positioning beforehand for someone to opt into that. Now there is a free 15 on my web on 5mbacademy.com. There's just a free 15-minute I call it the SMART review, which is just like you're going to spend 15 minutes and look at the top of the iceberg. You could probably have people sign up for that for free without ever talking to you. And then that can lead into like, hey, if I found all these things wrong in 15 minutes, like, imagine what I can find if we did the pain. And actually, one of my students gave me that wording recently, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so good. So
someone say they click something on a website that gives you a notification that like someone wants this, you get access to their books, and then you just send them a short review. A video, is it video based? And you just kick that over to them?
You could, yeah. I mean, you could do that.
I wonder if it's
You
live.
could automate a lot of that because, let's say somebody signed up for that 15-minute service, and then they can get sort of this onboarding with just the videos of you like, hey, welcome, and here are the next steps, so that they're getting sort of that personal touch without having to talk to you.
Well, this is fantastic. I want to encourage everyone, like, if you don't do anything else, just screenshot that script, y'all. That was in one of these slides. I think it was before this slide. It was a game changer for my business. And yeah, I'm gonna say I started my first diagnostic review. I remember it was $125. That was all I could stomach, like in my guts. I did not have courage to do more than that. But like, I'm so glad I did it, and I've just been slowly increasing it. Usually after I would do like a couple of people bought it at that price, I'm like, all right, time to up the price. I'm not overthinking it at all. I have refined it, and I would bet that even your template, Veronica, like once a student buys that, you're gonna massage it for yourself. Like, you're gonna know that, like, okay, I never talk with a client who has these lines necessary. Like, I don't need to look at inventory because I would never, no one's even gonna have it. So I think that would be like, a good bookkeeper is going to take a template and then tailor it to your strong suits.
Yeah.
Make it the colors you want to make it the words you want to use. Oh, that's another thing. I have a Word document, Veronica, that as I've done these, I realize it turns out all business owners have the same crackpot problems. And so I was writing the same things like over and over and over. Like, the items and services, everybody does wrong. Like, total disaster. And I had made 2 YouTube videos they're really good about FreshBooks and like how items and services work. And so like, I just copy that sentence, and pretty much everyone, I mean, I go look and make sure that they're not doing it properly, and they all aren't. And then I just grab my little text from my Word document. It's called, whenever I kick off a diagnostic review, I have a few things that I open to like help me. And one of them is like, it's called like diagnostic review keywords and phrases. And it matches to my 11 sheets. And so I know on the profit and loss tab, everyone's going to get like the same 3 or 4 comments, and then they might get like 3 or 4 more like customized comments. But that makes it really easy too, because so then I'm not having to think about, how do I say that you're doing items and services wrong? I just say the same thing.
Yeah, that's very effective. And actually, one of my students maybe 2 years ago kind of said, like, why can't we have like canned wording for this checklist? I have to write all the recommendations. And I thought, okay. So I updated the course. So you might want to look at the updated version of the diagnostic, because that course has been updated. And so now when you say like cleanup needed, hold on, let me see where I have that. I don't remember if that's to the left or to the right. Hold on.
It's to the right if it's the Excel sheets.
Yeah. Just so we can see it. Oh, yeah. Getting there. Okay. That one's blurry. Okay. So when it says under that column that says findings cleanup needed, when you put cleanup needed, then the last column where it says recommendations, that's now canned comments within the Excel spreadsheet.
Okay. The way I have built mine in Google Sheets is that I have tried to, for the so I have like some paragraph areas that I write, like I just free type some. So most of what I would say 80% of my reviews are kind of like checklists like this. But then at the bottom of each tab, I have a couple of big like open boxes, and I usually try to fill them. And that's where I'm going and putting a lot of these like phrases that I've been using.
Yeah.
But what I have done is I have created set answers in like a drop down, and I have made them color coded. So when they see my sheet, they're either looking at lots of greens or lots of yellows or lots of reds. Yeah. And whenever I start off, I say, we're going to go through these, and like, you're going to have some greens. You're going to have some, like, everyone's doing something right. So, congratulations on the greens. The reds are going to be, and so it's kind of a stark visual when they see the reds are like alarming. And Google has Google Sheets has a nice little like button, and I click like yes or no. Like I've made it all I've worked it out to where it all makes sense. I should sell my FreshBooks diagnostic review template one day. But it's similar to this, lots of automation. No, I try to not have to type very much at all. And then when I do have to type, I'm hopefully grabbing some text that I've already thought about because I've done so many of these. So.
Yeah. And that's I think the beauty of now then having that it's already done for you instead of like you and me that we spent, however many hours refining year after year and even refining more. And then I got it to where now you can just take a screenshot after you kind of hide a couple of columns, take a screenshot from the checklist and then paste it onto the report. So
yeah, I think I tried. So I remember trying to do that, and since I had built mine in Google Sheets, like the screenshot was like not working for me. So I ended up being able to like build my sheet in such a way that I just go to the share button and I share it with them. Actually, I put it in a shared folder is how I do it, but with only view access, so they can't edit anything. But I say, this is yours forever. You can do with whatever you want with this. So lots of cool ways to do that.
Yeah, I think, as long as if we can all agree that we should be doing, first of all, diagnostic reviews, and second, charging for them, then the rest takes care of itself.
Yeah. In the chat, we have a question from Cullen. He's saying, can you clarify how you calculate prices based on the two models, the annual revenue or the number of months?
I've done both.
Okay. And is it a percentage of annual revenue, or does it just kind of like ballparks? Like if it's like $1 million, they're like 500. If it's 2 million, they're 750.
Yeah, I had it was basically like from 0 to 500,000 in revenues. It's $500. I mean, it really don't overthink it too much, and it's not. I mean, not this magic like. It's just charge for it. And a lot of the client, some people have, like most of their clients are under 500,000 in annual revenues. And then just have a go-to price.
Yeah. I was going to say, Cullen, you don't even need to tell them that's how you're charging.
Oh, no.
But if it helps you in the moment, because we can panic on the call and you have like 3 seconds to be able to state a number. If it helps you to just one Saturday morning, you just sit down at your kitchen table and write out a little chart that says 0 to 500K is 500, 500 to $1 million is 600, and $1 million plus is 750. Like that's good enough. That's better than 99% of bookkeeping professionals.
Yeah.
So,
and it's really, I only had like 3 tiers because the key is you have to give them the pricing. Like you don't sit there, let me calculate, like just give them the pricing. And I literally, I think, had it on a yellow sticky for a long time. And then at some point I just put it on an Excel spreadsheet where like if, when I had a discovery call scheduled, I just have my, different screens open. But I just had it kind of memorized. And like I said, for the types of clients that we were working with at Maven C, it was generally just the $997, just because of, e-commerce complexity. And if they were way too small, I already knew they were not going to be a good client for us anyway.
Yeah. Thank you, Veronica. Y'all, check out her all of her stuff. There's a link to the Whole 5MB Academy down below as well. But I know her heart and her passion is definitely QBO cleanups, this diagnostic review. But there's a lot more back there. She's mentioned a lot of e-commerce stuff, so she's a great person to lean on for like just e-commerce expertise. Just for sure, an early mover into that space when it's scary and it's hard and it's always changing.
It's still hard.
Yes. But thank you. I just appreciate how I think whoever is listening to this is for sure going to be elevated. I would love if you charge $20. That is something to celebrate. Just come into our Facebook group, go into Veronica's group, tell her, and just say like, okay, I did it. And once you do one, you're gonna like never go back. It's crazy. And then you'll be charging a lot. You'll be getting your system refined to where you don't like. I don't mind a diagnostic review because I know for me, it's a good ROI on my time because I've gotten it down, and it's likely going to lead to ongoing work. it's just kind of a no-brainer. And I love that you said that if it's too expensive for the client, then they probably aren't going to be a good, healthy client for you to have. And that's hard to hear because some people are still like, I need to take anything that has a pulse. And this is a good way to just start to step into that territory of like, I'm a professional. I don't need to take anything that has a pulse. I can have some standards. And this is a great way to just start laying some standards out for what it is you do in your business.
Yeah.
This is great. Well, we're going to wrap up. We got all the questions asked in the chat. You're welcome, Colin. We'll see you in the Bookkeeping Side Hustle Facebook group, Veronica.
Absolutely. I'll be happy to answer questions there.
Adios, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.